everyone, and welcome to my live reaction and review for Shogeki no Soma, chapter 249, Your Face in Profile. Alright guys, so last week, pretty much the chapter was basically about the start of the match between Ishiki and Tsukasa. We found out what Ishiki is serving. It's a one dish. But besides that, we don't actually know anything else. What's in it? We don't know what the theme ingredient is. From memory, I don't quite recall what it is. I'm pretty sure we got told what it was. Don't quite recall what it is. But I know it's got something to do with French cuisine, which is Tsukasa's specialty. But anyway, basically, guys, that's pretty much what we had. Ishiki basically served up his dish with the judges losing their mind. And then we had him saying to Nine Kune, if it wasn't for you, I couldn't have continued cooking. So I think we're going to get something from Ishiki today. But anyway, let's just get straight into this chapter. Let's get straight into it. We got our first page up. It's a color page. We got Erina in a very black latex type suit, very seductive. We got Alice across the birds. We got Megami sitting on her hand, Ishiki on her shoulder, Takumi sitting on her hip. Then we got Akira or Hanayama and Kurokiba behind her leg. We got Kuga also behind her leg. And then we got Soma there holding a flag saying this is Shogeki no Soma's 5th anniversary as well as Shonen Jump's 50th. Okay. Let's get into it, guys. Let's get the anime season 3 continues with the Totsuki Train arc coming to you next April on Tokyo MX. Ooh, alright. So in April, we're going to get the continuation of season 3. Nice. I like it. That's actually really good to hear. So they basically split season 3 into 2 sections. Alright. I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. Alright, let's get into it, guys. Alright, so we're starting with the judges. This flavor. That is the Japanese soup. That is the Japanese soup dish made by Ishiki Satoshi, wielder of super aggressive Japanese cuisine. What secret is hidden within this exquisite bowl? So we actually finally get to see what Ishiki has served. His one dish. So I get the soup and he's got something just in the middle. The coloring of each ingredient and the plating arrangement, it's like a work of art. Just looking at it draws me in. I wonder how it tastes. So this is the crowd. Now we're going to Histore. Just how delicious is it? So it looks like we're going back a little bit to they actually haven't tasted it. Taking but one tiny sip of the broth was enough. It sent my entire body trembling. Alright, so they've tried the broth. Preparing the ever so delicate Japanese soup with wild rabbit. Rabbit is the theme ingredient. I had to think about that. And kombu is already fantastically difficult. But he even managed to pair those flavors with clam juice. Okay. Clam juice. Clam? Is it even possible to pair shellfish with wild game in a soup like this? So we've got the two doofuses basically from Kyosuke. I can never remember their names. 4 components make up a traditional Japanese soup. Suji, the broth that makes up the base of the soup. Suikuchi, the ingredient that accents the fragrance of the dish. Wandane, the main ingredient. Wanzuma, the ingredient accompanying the wandane. Okay, so let's explain the dish basically in a nutshell. By balancing the wild game and clam broths in a ratio of 7:3, the saltiness and mellowness of the shellfish is incorporated into the suji. Okay, so it's incorporated into the broth, giving this soup a slightly different taste than your usual first daishi. Okay, the yuzu suikuchi brightly ties everything together. So that's the ingredient that brings everything together. This man has brought forth a new milestone in Japanese daishi making. Alright, so that's some pretty high praise there coming from Anne. Whoa! He developed a new dish in the middle of this intense battle. So this has come from Meet Me. That's Ishiki Satoshi Senpai for you. So that's Alice. The surprising novel flavors, connecting the fragrance and the taste of this dish. They seduce me into the world of traditional Japanese cuisine. So that's the other judge. I never remember his name. A bewitching, enrapturing dance performance. And we got Ishiki there holding a fan, he's doing like a dance. It's so unusual to see Ishiki in clothes. Like, he's like the one character that you're so used to seeing in literally just an apron and that's it. It's so off-putting when you see him in clothes, like fully dressed. It's different. But I can no longer linger amidst the memories of those notes. I need to judge the nature of the solid ingredients themselves, the wandane and the wanzuma. Yeah, I almost forgot. So it was that good that they almost forgot about the actual main ingredients. That's pretty impressive. What even is this wandane? It looks to be a small piece of mochi, but makes you wonder what ingredient he used, right, Soma-kun? So this comes from Megumi. Soma-kun? So, those two. I think they've been talking about something for a while now. So Soma's not even interested in what's going on with the judges. He's wondering what's going on with Ishiki and Nenekuni. And that's like a nice little segue to take us to Ishiki and Nenekuni. This is kind of what I've been wanting to find out. But what do you mean, Ishiki? Because as we know, Ishiki said if it wasn't for her, he would never have been able to continue cooking. If it weren't for me, you don't know whether you'd have gone on cooking. I have no idea what you could possibly mean. You're probably just teasing me again, aren't you? My. I mean exactly what I said. A bit thorny there, aren't we? What made you such a stick in the mud? Typical Ishiki. Now he's teasing her. He was being sincere and then he's gone from teasing her. I love Ishiki. Oh, well, it's probably that the fact that I can do basically anything probably hurt you deeply as a child. For that, I am sorry. There it is! That's what's annoying about you! She's cracking the shit at him. But I really mean it. You're my savior. You simply have never known. Okay. So Nenekuna kind of saved him, but the question is, what did she save him from? So, what? Shall I tell you a bit about myself then? Ooh, we're actually going to find out about Ishiki. Alright. So we've got Nenekuna, she's like, huh? What? Because Ishiki doesn't really talk like if you watch the anime, and the anime is not far behind this. And even if you read every single chapter, you'll know that Ishiki never really talks about himself, about his past. We got a little bit in his match against Nene when he was facing on I think it was the Nato, while Soma was facing Nenekuni, was facing Nene. Then we got a little bit how they knew each other, but that's it. But that's the most that we've ever gotten about Ishiki. So I think now we're actually going to find about Ishiki before he met Nenekune, and that's huge. Like, I'm looking forward to this. So we're going Gyeong Kyoto, the Ishiki household, a wonderfully famous traditional Japanese restaurant that stretches back to the Muromachi period. I was born as the eldest son of that family. All right, so he's the eldest, and he's got siblings. Of course, even my earliest memories are training in the ways of cooking. For better or worse, I mastered most everything I was taught. Okay? From afar, I no doubt looked the perfect successor for my family's trade. They couldn't have asked for better. Alright? But my heart was ever covered in dark shadow. Satoshi, heed me. Right, so I think that's his probably father. The idea of shall not be tolerated in the one of the Ishiki family. Of course, you can. You must. There's no need to rejoice over the fact that you managed to memorize any one thing or another. Becoming contented with your mastery of the most basic of techniques will prevent you from developing the bearing with which the eldest son of this family must comport himself. This house needs you to grow up and fast. Alright, so there was a lot of pressure on Ishiki to literally, he had to learn everything, learn it quick, he had to master it, boom, 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 boom. There was no leeway. Basically, get back to the kitchen. I never felt like I was achieving anything, and the members of my household never praised me. Day in and day out, I completed my training in an emotionless cut and dry haze. As I was at the time, I had no idea. Okay, so literally he had no. It was literally just train. That's all he knew. He didn't know anything else. No idea of why cooking even existed. Okay, so he's like, I didn't understand the reason for cooking. If it's all, I just have to learn these techniques. All right, I've mastered these techniques. What's the point of cooking? Like, what's the point of cooking it? I don't get it. This wadane. So it looks like we're going back to the judges now. This wadane. Could it be? Is there something enveloped inside it? Well, let's break it and find out. So it looks like they're cutting up the chopsticks. They're opening it up. What? Something's going on. What in the pristine broth is becoming cloudy. The mellow fragrance. It's miso. That clear broth has in an instant turned into miso soup. Okay. And it was like, what? We've got Yuki. We got Yuki there. We got Glasses Dude. And we got one of the other big bulky dude. Allow me to explain. The contents of that mochi are wild rabbit meat and scallion. That is a pre-preparation made by slowly braising those ingredients in white miso. Okay, so he's turned his one dish into now a miso dish. So it's like two dishes in one. All right, this is really top-notch shit. I mixed together sweet rice flour and wheat flour and wrapped the ingredients in it. After boiling those pouches for a few minutes, I added them as the wandane. At first, one may enjoy the limpid flavor of the clean broth, but then after the envelope is broken, the gently enveloping flavors of the wild rabbit and miso may be enjoyed as well. Okay? Now then, judges, please partake of the pre-preparation and then sip the soup once more. Okay, so they're going to try like the mochi thing, and then they're going to try. So it looks like the judges are eating thing. Like, so they're losing their mind in the sip. An unbelievable deliciousness. The richness of the wild rabbit meat and the pure broth are tied together by the white miso. They've perfectly melded together. We've got Histore and the other guy literally pulling the sash off Anne. And she's like literally disrobing. In Japan, there's a particular turn of phrase used to describe the structure of performances in the art. What was it? Let's see here. So she's flicking. Yes, the Johakyu. All right, so we got explanation what that is. The Johakyu, a tripitchar structure common in court dance and music. The Jo, the beginning, contains no clapping accompaniment. The Ha, the break, represents a slow, forceful change in the nature of the act. And the Q, the rush in the climax, accompanied by swift clapping. Okay. This dish is a construct of increasing deliciousness, of increasing tempo, almost like a Japanese dance inside a single bowl. Okay, that's different way to explain it. Normally, this sort of Japanese soup necessities above all other dishes delicacy and refinement, but he has managed to play upon even this stage. A surprise laden ingenuity shines through, unfettered by wayward thoughts of focused attacks. That's what he stored out his thing. Now it looks like we're going back to Nene and Ishiki now. We've got Nene saying Ishiki. Now it looks like we're going, yes, I was unaware and unfeeling of the joys and emotions of cooking, and yet one day I met a certain girl. Right, so now we're going back into Ishiki's memories. To Ishiki family custom, I met her at the place she was being lodged. Truth be told, compared to me, she was neither elegant nor refined, but she had play and joy in her heart. Okay, as she step by step built up her skills, I gazed at her face in profile. It was beautiful. So it's a young Nene Kune. Back then, when I saw your face, I managed for the first time in my life to believe that cooking might actually be fun. The joy in polishing one's skills to one day please another's thought flavor. The name of the chefs that first taught me that value of that feeling is Kinokune Nene. Ooh, alright. That's huge. Basically, he's saying that the whole reason now why he's loving cooking is because of Nene Kuni. Right, so let's go on to the next page here, guys. I deeply respect you. Ooh, I love that picture, man. It's just Ishiki, like, I'm a man. Right? He's just looking absolute, not beast, but just like, the way he's looking at it is like, there's more than just respect there for her. So we've got Nina Kuni blushing, and that's why I wish for you to remember. Remember the face I thought so beautiful, the feelings I felt that day. Alright, so we got to find out quite a fair bit about Ishiki. Alright, not a ton, but a little bit. Alright, now we're going to Histore, an elegant, powerful dish. Super aggressive Japanese cuisine in every sense of the word. It yet confound the white knight of the table. So they're talking about Tsukasa. So something's happening. Someone's putting up one of those little fan thingies. Alright, we're going to have to zoom in for a second, guys. Alright. So we got this wild dance, the Strum und Dang. The Strum und Drang. Okay. Armored, shattered. Ooh! Alright. This is interesting. And that's Shogeki no Soma, chapter 249. And this is where the chapter ends. And it ends with Ishiki literally, bang, cracking the armor of Tsukasa. Dude, that's great because we always see Tsukasa dressed like a knight, right? And there's like this beautiful, pristine, like armor. Here, it's been shattered, all right? And it's saying armor shattered. The question now is going to be, how is Tsukasa Aishi the first seat? So this guy is currently the best cook in Totsuki out of all the students. How is he going to answer this challenge by Ishiki? That's the true question. Because there are some raving reviews. But anyway, guys, let's move straight into the review. Alright, guys, so this was actually quite an interesting chapter for chapter 249. In that we're constantly jumping back and forward at the start, actually pretty much the entire time, between the judges judging the food, Ishiki's dish, and Ishiki talking to Nene Kune. And I like how everything kind of got set up. Right, so the first few pages, we get revealed what is Ishiki's dish, what it looks like. It's a bowl with broth and there's mochi in the middle. Right, we got everyone losing. We find out that there's clam juice in it. Right, and then obviously they've tasted the broth. They love the broth. We get an explanation on how, the components that makes up this traditional Japanese soup. Right, and in the meantime, we also get a bit of commentary from like Alice, Meat, and Alice and whatnot. Right, they basically described it a bewitching, enrapturing dance performance. Right, and then we get the nice little segue from between Megami and Soma, where Megami's like, oh, it makes you wonder what ingredients he actually used. Soma, and he goes, those two. I think they've been talking about something for a while now. That was a nice little segue to go back into the Ishiki Nene Kune conversation, where we then recapture the whole thing. All right, Ishiki basically said the only reason I could keep continuing cooking was because of her. And then, she's like, oh, yeah, you're just teasing me again, aren't you? Like, typical Ishiki. And he goes, my. He actually means what he said. Aren't we a bit thorny today? So he basically says, no, I'm being legit here. But then at the same time, he pokes her, basically. So, in typical Ishiki fashion, which is, I do like Ishiki. I like how Ishiki is, right? And then you got Nene Kune in the next round. Like, that's what I fucking hate about you. That's what's so fucking annoying. So she gets cranky and he goes, but seriously, I really do mean it. You were my savior. You simply have never known, right? So she's like, wait, what? So then that kind of shuts her up. And then he goes, let me tell you a bit about myself. And then we get a little bit of insight into what. So we kind of quite a while ago, we got little glimpses as to where Ishiki was. Like how he came to be with Nene Kuni, right? It was because of a tradition between the two families, right? But we don't know too much about Ishiki himself, where he's from, what his family is like, whether he has siblings, all that kind of stuff. We don't really know anything about him. And here we learn quite a fair bit. We learned he's from Kyoto. I'm pretty sure that's where we've heard that on before. We also find out he's the eldest son of his family, right? He's from a family that stretches back to the Muromachi period, which is a long, long time ago. And basically, his earliest memories are basically getting training in the ways of cooking. For better or worse, I mastered most everything I was taught. From far, I no doubt looked the perfect successor for my family trade. They couldn't have asked for any better. So he was pretty much just, his only memories were to work in the kitchen, right? Learning techniques, skills, all that kind of shit. That's all he ever knew, right? And then we got to see a fair bit about his family. Basically, he lived in a family where there was so much pressure on him that he had no room to breathe, basically. So, they were saying things like, the idea of shall not be tolerated within the family. Of course you can, you must. It's basically saying to him, you must achieve these skills. You must memorize, you can't just rejoice over the fact that you mastered something. You got to, all right, you mastered, boom, move on to the next thing. He never had time to really celebrate anything, and just a lot of things like that. He goes, basically they're saying, you need to grow up and you need to grow up fast. Like they're not even letting him be a kid. Then he's basically just get back to the kitchen. And he's like, he felt like he was never really achieving anything. He was just like a robot, emotionless. It was just like, day in, day out, I completed my training in an emotionless, cut and dry haze. In other words, he didn't care if he achieved something, cool. If he didn't, nothing fazed him. There was just no emotion. He had no idea of why cooking even existed. Like, it was the whole thing of why. Why does cooking exist? Like, why would someone want to do this? Like, this is boring. This is monotonous. This is stupid. How can people find this fun? Like, he didn't understand it. We end up going back to the judges after this part, and so this part they actually open up the mochi, the main part of the dish, and basically it becomes like a miso soup, right? And that's basically, it's like a pre-preparation. So there was rabbit and scallions within this mochi, and the mochi was like a second part to the dish, which was pretty epic. And then we got Yuki and all them. We were like, what? They're like losing their mind, right? And then Ishiki basically goes on explaining how he created it, yada yada yada. He goes, now please partake of the pre-preparation and then sip the soup once more. So basically, take a bit of that and then take a bit of the soup. So they do that, and the judges absolutely lose their mind. And then says this is similar to the Johakyu, which is a type of dance, which is like the first part is like the beginning contains no clapping but an accompaniment. But Then the high is like a break, and then obviously the Q is like the climax. Is like the you see all those Japanese dances like the climax. This is the great part, and they describe Ishiki's dish as one of those. The first part, the broth, just the broth itself, is like the introduction, and then there's like a little break as they cut open the miso, and then everything kind of floods out, changing the taste and the flavor, and then it's the Q, which is like boom, the taste of the game, the scallions, the mochi, as well as the new broth, which is now. That's how they pretty much describe it. So they describe it almost like a Japanese dance inside a single bowl. I believe that's how Anne describes it. And then we got his story. Basically, go, wow, this is crazy. And then we have Ninakune in the bottom corner. She's like Ishiki-kun. She's saying Ishiki, and then we go back to learning a bit more about Ishiki. He goes, basically, he was unaware of his feelings, the joys and emotional cooking, and yet one day I met a certain girl. True. And he basically, the girl, he goes, but she had play and joy in her heart. So the way she was taught was very different. She was taught to love cooking, and because of that love, she wanted to master it and get better at it. And he basically said, as she step by step built up her skills, I gazed at her face in profile. It was beautiful. And we see a young Ninekuni working away here. He goes, back then when I saw your face, I managed for the first time in my life to believe that cooking might actually be fun. And then we got a picture of everyone from Kyokse or Polestar, Soma, Yuki, Megami, Miss Fumio, all them. And he basically said the name of the chef that first taught me the value of that feeling is Kinokune Nene. So he's basically saying the whole reason why I love cooking now, why I have so much fun with it, it's all because of you. Right? Then he goes, I deeply respect you. So he has a lot of respect for her, like insanely. So we're going to see a little bit more. I like the fact that in this chapter, and then we obviously got, she's obviously blushing. He goes, and that's why I wish for you to remember. Remember the face I thought so beautiful, the feelings I felt that day. So I think that's what he was trying to say to her. Look, when you're happy, when you're enjoying and you're loving it, you look so much more beautiful. And that's the face that got me to love cooking. That's what I want to see again, So he's basically saying, I want to see you happy. I want to see you enjoying cooking, not just doing it because you have to do it. We then go back to the judges, and then we finally see Tsukasa, and he's in his armor like he always is, as he gets portrayed. He's the white knight of cooking. He confounds the white knight of the table. And then we see Ishiki literally doing and shattering Tsukasa's armor. So what does this mean? I have no idea. But we're going to have to wait till next week to find out. So I like the fact that in this chapter we got a lot. There was a lot within this chapter. A lot more than I actually expected. Right? We got obviously the judges tasting the dish, going ballistic, enjoying the dish, finding out a bit more about the dish. But then we also found out a bit more about Ishiki, where he's from, what cooking was like. What cooking was like before he met Ninekuni, right? Or Kinokuni. So there's a lot of stuff that we found out, and we found out that for the only reason Ishiki enjoys and loves cooking so much is because of Kinokuni. Because when he first saw her, he saw her just literally having fun, pure joy and happiness, stuff that he never experienced in the kitchen. And that's where he started to find his love for cooking, and this is the only reason why he is still cooking. He deeply respects her, and I would say him go as far to say that he actually does love her. I would say that's, he may not have admitted that there, but I wouldn't be surprised if he actually does fall in love with her later on, or if he already is. And then we get the setup into the final of that Ishiki has cracked the armor of Tsukasa Aishi, the first seed. So I think this is setting up for, I believe Tsukasa is going to win this match, and that Ishiki is setting things up so he can get defeated later on. So that's what I'm thinking is the whole thing with the armor shattering. That's what I think it is. Because Tsukasa is so far above, it is absolutely crazy. That's what I'm thinking. I'm looking along those lines. But yeah, overall, guys, this was actually a really solid chapter. And probably one of the better chapters this year. And I know we're only in January, but honestly, guys, this is one of my favorite chapters for the year. I love it. There's so much good stuff in there that makes it worthwhile. Like a lot of information. We learn a little bit more, not a ton more, but just enough about Ishiki, where he came from, and the reason why he's still cooking. The reason now why it looks like he's always having so much fun when he's cooking, and when he cooks, it's like it's a joy. It's not a chore for him anymore. Where originally it was just like, why do this? I don't understand this. Why do this? This is monotonous. This is boring. It's just doing the same thing over and over and over again. It's boring. It's shit. And then Akune basically taught him, just watching her in profile, so looking at her from side on, it's like, wait, how is she having so much fun? Why is there so much joy? You know what I mean? So I like that. I like there's a lot of foreshadowing for chapters coming, as well. We got a lot of information as well as to what's with Ishiki and stuff like that. So I think there's a bit of foreshadowing, and that's why the reason we got to see the armor like literally shattered. It's going to be interesting to see how Tsukasa handles this, because I'm really curious to see what's going to go down. But anyway, guys, overall for this chapter, I'm going to give it 4.5 stars. I absolutely love this chapter. This chapter was amazing. Like, it was utterly brilliant. Not quite a 5 out of 5, but not far off, guys. Like, if I had to go like point, it would just be like a 4.8 or a 4.9. Absolute brilliant chapter. I love this chapter so much. I like there's a bit of foreshadowing there, which I like, because it looks like Tsukasa, from what we can see, it's like he's noticed his arm's been cracked, but he doesn't seem phased. So I'm going to be really curious to see what's going to be going down. Are we going to see the best of Tsukasa? That's the real question. Anyway, guys, that is all for me. As always, let me know in that comment section below what you guys thought. Did you like it? Didn't like it? All that kind of jazz. And as always, guys, I'm Free01. You guys are awesome. And I'll catch you guys with another review / live reaction. Peace.